Greetings and salutations, this is Imperator Vespasian and his trusty sidekick.
Hello.
And from this box you see before you, we were bored and we decided to pick one of these up. We did the Vietnam one before. Does it show you on the side?
Some time ago.
Show you what's... No, it doesn't have it on there. But there's a Vietnam one that we got, which will be in our list somewhere. And we did that up, and we did it, and someone bought it, so we didn't get to play with it. So never actually played with it. So we got this one because it looks fun.
Does it look awesome? Yeah,
it puts you back £100, which is what, $20,000, something like that. 50,000 euros. It's not bad. It's got sort of everything in a box. So it's from Italy. Stalingrad siege in 1942, which was a fun thing that happened in Russia for some reason. I don't know what it was about. And it was a war, something in the 30s and 40s. I'm not really sure.
Who's in Stalin? Never heard of him.
Stalin?
I think he's one of them like showman people.
He was a bank robber, wasn't he? Oh no, he was a priest. Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Everything is true. So, instruction book. I really like these Italiari kits.
I've always been obsessed with them.
I love them, and when they started bringing out the battle boxes, many years ago, I think it was an Airfix kit where you got a bunker. It was like D-Day. The bunker was rubbish, but I played with it for like 2 years.
It was amazing.
It was amazing, yeah. And since then, I always liked these kits. I didn't really have time to get one, but good thing is it has everything in it, so it's sort of, you can do a little diorama and everything with it. So this is the instruction book. It tells you, apparently what's it say? There's a thing. It says it was a famous battle in military history. Apparently the Germans were there, which is interesting. So
this is about Stalin's graduation.
Oh right, yeah. Nice uniform guide. So that's the box of Germans that you get in it, and that's the box of Russians. I was kind of hoping you'd get winter clothing. So it's really for the first part.
The Russians are correct though.
Yeah, well, it's for the first part of the siege, which wasn't in snow. But when you think of Stalingrad, you think snow. Because all the films, they're snow. Because it's cheap to film.
Then again, Amy's at the gate, it's not snow.
No, because it's the first part, isn't it? They've only just arrived.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's the beginning of the siege.
They've already admitted the loss in the beginning of the film. Right, his rifle.
Are they surrounded? Oh, that's the Russians. Go! That's the Russians, because it's at the beginning.
Yeah, the beginning it's as if that the Germans took Stalingrad in the film.
They did. They did. They took right up to there was just a tiny little beachhead on this side of the Volga.
Port.
Yeah, and that's all the Russians held. The Germans had basically taken the city.
Does the Germans have any problem with snipers? Because all the officers get sniped.
Yes.
That bit of a sniper.
Yeah, there's Russian snipers there and German snipers, and you make a whole film about it.
It's good, somehow.
I like the film, it's a good film. I like Jude Law though.
I expected it to be boring, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that's my favourite sniper.
But I am a Jude Law fan, I like his stuff. Because he's a hammy actor. He hams it up, and I like that. He's particularly good. It's the only reason...
Is he the guy that plays the Russian sniper?
Yeah.
I've seen him in a few movies, he's actually quite good.
He's in AI. He plays one of the mecha who was the friend of the boy. And he's the only reason to watch AI.
Yeah, he is.
He is literally the only reason you ever want to watch that film, because it's awful. The film is terrible, but it's worth it for Jude Law. He's just brilliant. Anyway, sorry, we've gone off track again. So here's the instruction book. We have a lot of nice little instructions, and it tells you everything you need to know about putting them together. Another thing which I didn't know when I bought the kit is they're the easy fit, so the sort of the snap fit tanks, which is cool. I like these because they take absolutely no assembly whatsoever.
Like 28 mil. Oh god.
Oh no, 20. Yeah, that's bad.
Nightmarish.
And that's some nice pictures. And I will also mention, before I actually do the unboxing, with the Vietnam one, there was sort of a guide on how you can make your own plants and stuff, and how you can make your own scenery, which wasn't really much use to us because we don't play it. But we do play World War II, and it's got this here, and it's got ideas of stuff you can do, which if you're a modeler you should already know, but all the little offcuts from this, you can, they make them into medical boxes and
Bricks.
yeah. So you can actually make them look really cool. And I have actually I mainly use it for rubble. So like the offcuts of wood I just use for rubble, but that's a good idea. It's a nice little thing. So we have 2 Russian Dreissigs.
T-34s.
Yep. Nice little Soviet tanks. Still some knocking around today that work for some reason.
Yeah, washed one, didn't we?
Yeah, they pulled one out of a bog, put some fuel in, and it drove off. What's that about? They really knew how to build back then. Yeah, so still some of these guys around, and they're good. They were a decent tank. They were cheap, easy to make, and could be operated by people with no experience.
It's just not supposed to be like a one-on-one tank.
No, it's a swamp tank. It's a swamp tank. You just send hundreds against one.
Even then, they failed lots of times.
Yes. Yeah.
The Germans are for less tanks, but very, very good quality tanks.
Relatively.
Russians are for as much tanks as possible because we're losing the war.
Yes. And actually, the T-34 is a good design tank.
It's a good design.
And it's got sloped armour, which increases the armour.
So you've got to understand that they're trying to fight the people who were making Tigers.
Yeah, well, the T-34 actually came out in 1940, which is 2 years before the Tiger came out.
Yeah, no, the Tiger 953, I think.
Yeah, the original T-34 didn't have an anti-tank on it. It had a howitzer. It was meant as a infantry support tank. It wasn't meant as a tank.
Well, I suppose in 1940 having a tank isn't as important at that time.
No.
Until like we started getting to the cities. So
Yeah.
like 1942, 1943.
I mean, even the Germans, their tanks weren't tanks.
They had
They were,
Panzers, didn't they?
yeah, they were anti-infantry tanks. If there was a tank, you brought an anti-tank gun up.
Because at the end of the day, if you invade a country with just tanks, you're not really a threat to the country, let's be honest. Because
No, because you can't get out of your tank.
Yeah.
You're stuck in the tank.
The infantry, they're the ones that can wreak havoc.
Yeah, I mean, the Soviets invaded Finland with thousands of tanks. Didn't do them anything. It was a waste of time. Yeah, so that's the T-34. That's nice little tank. I like tanks. And of course, the T-34 did inspire the Panther, and the Panther arguably is the modern tank. So everything in the Panther went into modern day tanks. So the Panther was sort of a genesis tank for a lot of modern vehicles. Right, now here we have a Panzer IV, which is a cute little tank. I think up to Stalingrad, a lot of Panzer IVs were still the F1 version. That's what I was thinking of Panzer III. They have a stubby gun, that gun there, which is a howitzer.
I take it this is supposed to be set in the beginning.
Yes, yeah.
Which means that it'd be even. More even in a game than trying to do the end, because the end is not good if you're playing Russians.
No.
Really not good.
No.
I wouldn't want to be Russians.
Well, you don't want to be Russians at the beginning. I mean, it was actually touch and go for a while at the beginning.
Bad though, in the beginning.
Yeah, but it was touch and go, but the Russians were constantly told they were getting reinforcements and they never arrived. And so the city was swamped.
Weren't they?
Yeah, and the Germans basically swamped the city and just overran the Russians with sheer weight of numbers. And then the Russians did the same in reverse. When they got their reserve troops, they swamped the Germans.
Yeah, but the Germans bet that back.
Yeah, well, the real way the Russians won, they didn't fight the Germans, they surrounded the Germans. They attacked around the flanks.
The Germans, we knew they were going to lose anyway, let's be honest. After the first few years, they've just been stuck there. Nothing you could do. You're just stuck.
I think they were there about 9 months total, I think. Because when Paulus surrendered, a lot of the soldiers didn't actually surrender, they carried on fighting. And some troops still made it out. A big country, Russia. Very hard to get lost in it. So that's the Panzer IV. So it's got both turrets. It's got the turret for the F1 and the turret for the F2. The F2 is the anti-tank version and the F1 is the anti-infantry version. And when the Panzer IV originally came out, it wasn't meant to be an anti-tank tank. It was supposed to hunt down infantry and bunkers and stuff like that, anti-tank guns. it was upgunned with the special, which never actually. It's called the F1 and the F2. It never got a designation. The F2 that we call the Panzer IV F2 is actually the Panzer IV Special. It was called the Special by the Germans because they got a toolkit delivered to them, the tank crews, and the kit had in it a long anti-tank gun, and they stripped the gun out themselves and put the new gun in, making it an anti-tank gun.
Fair enough.
And that's how they upgunned the tank. So technically there was no such tank as the F2. Never existed. It's just what we use for wargaming to make sense of things. But it's the F and the F2. There was never an F2. They were both Fs.
And now you've got to use everybody.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm really thick when it comes to these sort of stuff. I know too much. Right, so that's that out of the way. And in here, well, I'm going to have to pop this one open, aren't I?
Separate from
Yes. Oh, actually, before I pop this one, I'm going to open this one because it's not just the tank in here. I should be doing this with a pair of scissors, but I don't have a pair of scissors on me at the moment. So that's the Panzer IV. Nice little tank. Not the spray paint on finger.
Oh my god!
I've just sprayed a load of things and it got all over my hand. So these are lamp posts and a lot of fountain. Isn't it nice? Some great covers. That's awesome. That's awesome. Be impressed. Stop it. Go away. Go away. Right. Here we have a German anti-tank gun. Pack 40, is it? Don't know. So Pack 40. Yeah, there you go. I'm good at this. Right, that's Pack 40. So if you saw a Russian tank in the old days, you didn't send in one of your own tanks, you just got an anti-tank gun and killed it. Because that's what anti-tank guns are for. Just look at that barrel. That's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
There's Pack 40. I think it was a 43 cal? No. Oh, I don't care. Who cares? Anyway, it was a very good anti-tank gun. And these guys are in winter gear. They're in winter clothing, which is even more awesome. So I like that.
You were going to get it.
Yeah, so I actually got them. Right, so here are the Russians. Typical Russians. Far too many radios. Oh god, there's 3 radios. I don't think there were 3 radios in Russia, were there?
Especially Stalingrad.
Well, one downside, I read a great book by a German prisoner of war, and he was taken prisoner, I think he was taken prisoner around Stalingrad, and he was taken to this prison camp and they had to make things, and one of the things they made were radios. And it was run by the communists ran it, and the Germans, they would build the radios perfect, and then when it got to the end of the line they'd hit it with a hammer. But the commandant of the camp didn't care. All he had to do was get units out, so they never got punished for it. They always thought, oh, well, we've sabotaged them, we're going to get in trouble. But the commandant didn't care because it was the boxes getting shifted that mattered. Yeah, someone else down the line gets blamed for it.
All he cared about was making sure that he got his job done.
Yeah, and he found out the war ended when the commandant stood there and said, war's over, go home.
It works, doesn't it?
And they left the camp and they had to find a train
but what
to go home. Well, they had to go back.
The Germans don't have a home after what happened.
We did say quite a few Germans actually decided to settle in Russia.
Yeah, what can you go back to?
Well, bear in mind, these guys were in the far east of Russia. They weren't far east, the snowy bit.
It doesn't matter. It still means that when you go back to Germany, it's not going to be recognisable.
Yeah, it might just stop snowing by the time you get there.
It's all been swept up.
Yeah.
Every building blown up.
Well, if you weren't in the communist bit, they had the Marshall Plan where you got all new shiny buildings. Yeah, it's cool.
Well, no, actually, what happened was, Germany got split up by 3 different countries, didn't it?
4.
France, Britain, America, and Russia.
Yeah. I don't know why France got a bit.
And Berlin was under control of the USSR.
No, half of Berlin. Berlin was...
Oh god, yeah, the West. Oh god.
Yeah, Berlin was in the middle of Germany, which was occupied by Russia.
West and East.
Yes, and so you had to fly to Berlin. There was a train that ran for some period of time. I think they shut it at one point during the Cold War. But yeah, Berlin was completely surrounded by communists. Yeah, I know. I went there during.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and we actually left East Berlin, West Berlin, so the English, British, the civilised bit of Berlin, we left and went into the communist bit. And it was like turned to switch. You went from happy to depressed. And we went into this store, this supermarket, and it was the same thing on every shelf. Every line of shelves had one item, but it was the same item all the way down. A bit like what we just had with lockdown.
That sounds like equilibrium.
Very equilibrium, yes. And there were whole rows of shelves with the same packet of cornflakes.
Yeah, all you need is a bottle of water. You don't need a different type of bottle
That's
of
true.
water. It's a bottle of
It's
water.
true. You only need one pair of shoes.
Yeah, you only need a pair of shoes, and here they all are, different sizes.
Yes,
There you go.
that's it. One type of shoe.
If you don't fit your size, oh well.
You can always colour them in with a pen, but you might be considered subversive and sent to a camp. So,
Or blocked in.
oh yeah, that.
Break your door up.
So we were in Berlin, and it was great. And we went to East Berlin, and it was dour. It was all the buildings were painted, which is weird. They're all painted like a whitey grey colour, and we bumped into these Americans, which was a bad idea. You don't want to be near Americans when you're in East Berlin. This is during the Cold War, right? And we were wandering around. We got lost. We were trying to go somewhere that was famous, but we couldn't find it because, my mother spoke German, by the way, so it weren't like we're walking around just like silly foreigners visiting. But we found this building, and it had a huge picture of Lenin on the side. I presume it was Lenin, someone famous. I was a kid.
It would
And
be Stalin.
well, whoever it was someone painted on the side
it
of
would
the
be
building.
Khrushchev, wouldn't it?
Would it have been
I think
Khrushchev?
Khrushchev was in
It would
charge.
have been, yeah. So there's this huge mural of the thing, and we thought it was great. And the Americans were talking. Americans are very loud.
Yeah.
So they're very loud. They want everybody to know they're American, and we're taking pictures of this building because we thought it looked good. And then all these soldiers in uniform came out and started following us.
Oh no.
Now, we later found out that was like the KGB building, like or the FSB, whatever they call
Oh god.
and so we were stood on the street with a bunch of loud Americans taking pictures of their security
Oh my
services.
god.
And then they wouldn't let us out.
I wonder why.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't let us out. They checked all out. We got to this train station, and then one of the guys we'd seen earlier was already there, so they were following us. And it was creepy. It was really creepy.
Well, yeah, when you're taking photos of secret headquarters, you're a bit
Well,
dodgy, aren't you?
yeah, but I think they worked out we were just dumb foreigners just visiting, really. And I was a kid as well, so that probably helped that there was a child with them. But it's a weird thing.
You should have just said to the Americans.
Well, we were in
Just
there.
said they're spies!
The roads, they had like two lanes, one for left and one for right. Right, one for going one way, one for going the other.
I can't be.
And they had a middle road, which was for the government to use or the police to use.
The military.
Yeah, whoever. So that seemed like actually quite a clever system. If you had three roads, then your ambulances would always get through. Whereas living in Britain, ambulances are always in traffic jams.
Always.
And you have to go up the side to let them out, go over the grass. And another thing that happened is, it's fascinating this. So we're in this supermarket, and everyone is dressed. I'm not saying they're all dressed like Equilibrium. They were wearing normal clothes, but they looked dour. There was something about the people living there that looked dour. They weren't bright. It was like they were 10 years late. Right? And there was a woman who was in an extremely expensive fur coat. A full-length fur coat. And she had all makeup, all the hair done. She was the only person we saw there with the hair done, makeup and jewellery. And my father reckoned she must be either the daughter of an official or something. She was German. She was East German. She was speaking German. So she must be like a local, either official or the wife of an official. Therefore, she's wearing the...
She's probably an official, yeah.
Yeah. And that was weird. The difference between the elites and the non-elites. Communism's bad, by the way, in case anyone cares. So, these are the Russians. They're wearing your standard Russian fare. They've got a horsey.
Two of them.
Well, it's handy because you need something to eat. So you take a horse with you and you can eat it when you get there. Russians carried 2 bread bags, didn't they?
Probably.
Yeah, you know why. You know why.
Oh, I forgot if you told me.
Russians carried 2 bread bags. Why did they carry 2 bread bags?
Oh, isn't it one for civilians and one for them?
Yep.
Something, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because when you saw some civilians hiding, you would give them a loaf of bread. You had already had one for yourself to eat, you were fine, and you gave the other one to the civilians, and therefore the civilians are more likely to aid you and think well of
I know
you
the Germans did that in the beginning of the war.
They did, yes.
But
by Stalingrad, they'd given up.
They ran out of food.
Yeah, they'd rather just shoot civilians than feed them.
Well, yeah, because the civilians just go out and try and kill them.
Yeah, that too. Well, because they were shooting them. I mean, if you're a civilian and you're getting shot, you're going to get annoyed, aren't you? And let's face it, everyone in Russia owned a gun. So.
What about the Germans? What kind of uniform were they in?
Well, they're in early war uniform.
Yeah, Blitzkrieg.
Yes, that's a very early flamethrower. The later one had 2 tanks. That's the single tank.
Got a proper rocket launcher.
That's a Panzerfaust. That's late war. That's wrong. They're different periods. The two are different. In case anyone cares.
The Italian area is going to phone you up and shout at you.
Yeah, yeah. That's a nice little 82mm mortar, I would guess. 81mm mortar, I can't remember. It's that long since I've actually bothered reading. Nice Kar 98. I like the Kar 98. Yes, there's the officer with a pistol. You can tell there's an officer who's got a pistol. The officers should really have a pointy finger, as we've discussed before.
Yeah, pointy fingers always needed.
Yes, you need a pointy finger for your officer. You've just done a load of bolt action stuff up, haven't you?
Yes, lots of pointy fingers.
Lots of pointy fingers in bolt action, yes. Whereas these are 20mm, so or 1/72. I like the detail on them. They're nice figures. I mean, these figures have been around, what, as long as I have. This particular design. But they're nice little figures.
Ever since 1962.
62? Wow. That's actually before I was born. Not many things happened before I was born. I'm telling you, I'm getting old. But, yeah. Nice little Germans. I like it. You should be able to paint them up in winter colours. Oh.
And then you just have... There's no point in boxing next to it.
Isn't it? Well, let's have a look. So, can we get into it? I'm going to be able to get into it.
I've got sharp nail, I can do it.
Go on then. When's the last time we did an unboxing video?
4 or 5 months.
Yeah, it's a while. Because we had something to do and we just thought, oh, we can't be bothered because we're moving house. And you can't get into it, can you?
Mad, this is like...
I got a pen. You stab it.
I got a hole, I got a hole.
Yeah, so when we moved house we just didn't feel like doing unboxing videos, so we just painted the stuff up. Got some
Do that
stuff.
pen back. So see.
Yeah, skip forward to this time code to... There we go. That's what you get. You get this lovely building. And it appears to be in pieces.
Wow, imagine trying to do it without pieces.
Yeah, this looks good.
It smells horrific.
Okay. Yeah, it's laser cut MDF, isn't it? Ooh. Oh, that looks nice. Look at that.
God, oh, that's strong MDF.
Whoa.
That's like railings and buildings and stuff. The roof, isn't it?
Girders. Nice. So you're building it then, yeah?
Oh man,
I'm building it then, am I?
they're so funny.
Yeah. So
I like that.
Nice piece.
I like the
Look at
outside
that.
of the building, isn't it? That's nice.
Oh, it's got little cracks in it. Oh, that's awesome. These are going to be quite easy to paint as well, aren't they?
That's like a warehouse with the windows you have there.
Yep.
Flooring.
Lots of flooring.
Then the windows again. Ooh.
Oh, that's the front of the factory.
Yeah, that's
that
awesome.
looks smart, doesn't it?
I presume that's the huge floor for it.
Yeah, that's good. That's all fun. I'm going to enjoy doing that.
God,
So,
yes, so strong.
we will do another video when we've done some assembly, shall we?
Yeah, and then we'll see how awesome it looks.
Yeah, so it's quite good. So just shove it all back in and take it downstairs. I think I'm doing it all this time.
I'm not touching them.
Yeah. There are quite a few of these boxes. I'm going to do this one first. There's a nice box I saw which is a late war Russian thing with some Russian villagers in it, which look quite nice. And I quite like the Outpost one. Have you seen the Outpost one?
No, I don't really look into 20mm much.
It looks like it's set... I haven't actually read anything about it, but I've seen the picture. And it looks like it's set sort of Queen Anne's War.
That's a peculiar time to pick.
Sort of American Indians, Hurons versus British and French.
I guess we'll see.
Which looks quite fun. And I didn't think of getting that one instead of this one. I thought, well, we like World War II, we do a lot of bolt action. And Stalingrad, and we thought it was going to snow. We actually ordered this, it got delivered, and it took a while coming, which is why we didn't get it earlier. So it's basically a Christmas present, which is late. But it's not bad. I mean, put it back, as I said, £100. It's not that expensive. Well, it's expensive, but I mean, how much would it cost you in bolt action for 28mm?
Oh god, you're being like 200 quid, 300 quid, that much.
I mean, but
you're talking about bolt action.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bolt action is very expensive.
Yeah, so we use Flames of War instead
Yeah.
for it. And it's fine. We'd play a little game with it. I think it'd be a nice little skirmish game to play.
Yeah.
I did try and order some tanks as well, but they weren't in stock. So.
Yeah, put them on the list. They didn't come.
Yeah, because they're not in stock. It's a shame. But anyway, that's it. That's all we have to say for it. That is the thing. Oh, there's a nice picture of the assembled buildings on the back. And we will show you what it looks like when we put it together. That's it on the back.
And put it together. See, wow.
And we're done. There you go.
Yeah.
It's all assembled now. You can see all the bits we painted. We put that together really well, didn't we?
Yeah.
That looks exactly like the one on the box.
Ah.
Yeah. So we will do what we can and see what they look like when they're done. I have actually also, when I picked this up, I was looking into other stuff on the site, and they had Streltsy, are they called? And they do sort of a lot of winter war stuff, and Germans in greatcoat and stuff like that. So I might get a few of them to go in with this.
Yeah.
Which look quite good. Now they're all sort of in winter gear, and the Russians in winter gear, which looks quite good. Just an idea I had, which I could you could soup it up a bit.
Yeah.
So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. And actually, can I just make a point? That's not a model.
No, it's not. It's artwork.
That's a model. That's actual people.
Yeah, it's artwork.
That's from a film.
Is it from a film?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
That is from a film.
Edited in.
Yes, they have. They've sort of not green screened. They've done that thing you can do. I don't actually bother doing any of that anymore because my editing software is broken.
And your computer's broken. Your editing software is fantastic.
Yeah. No, I can actually do some really good edits and stuff and plugins and stuff. It's just I haven't done any of that stuff for years. I should really do it to make our channel more interesting, but it's only me running the channel.
Nah,
no one else is helping
everybody's
me.
so interested. Don't you worry, everybody's interested in our channel, no matter what we do.
Oh, okay. Well, let us know what you think of this unboxing, and yeah, I hope you're enjoying the Babylon 5 campaign.
I am.
Well, of course you are, you're winning. How come you've ended up playing Minbari now? You were supposed to be you and me versus the universe.
Because what I figured out was, the person that knew nothing about wargaming was versing us two, the people that play all the time. And so we knew all the downsides to the Minbari, so we just kept exploiting it.
That's true, that's true. Anyway, that's it, that's the end of the book. Book? Film? No.
Film, book,
Video.
box, video.
Yeah, thank you very much for watching. This is Imperator Vespasian and to Justice Sidekick.
That's it from me.
And everything from him. Goodbye.
See ya.